My name is Kendra Ramsey. I'm the Executive Director of the California Bicycle Coalition. We are very excited to be here today talking to you about our 2025 agenda. And I'm now going to turn it over to Cynthia Rose, who's our board chair. Cynthia.
Hi, and hello everyone, and warm welcome to CalBike's 2025 Agenda Reveal. I'm Cynthia Rose, Chairman of the Board, or Chair of the Board, and I'm thrilled to have you with us this afternoon as we chart a course for the next chapter of CalBike's transformative journey. In our movement, progress is measured in bold strides, but also in small, meaningful steps, whether it's a stripe of green paint on pavement or the reimagination of a bustling boulevard into a space for people. At CalBike, we know that these changes, big or small, carry the potential to reshape lives, neighborhoods, and entire communities and our state. As we unveil our 2025 agenda, excitingly, we stand on the shoulders of 30 years of advocacy for safe, equitable, and joyful streets. Together, we've made profound strides, but the road ahead is filled with opportunities to build a California where everyone, regardless of their age or ability, can experience the freedom and joy of riding a bike. Today, we'll share bold plans for 2025, build on the momentum of SB 960, and work towards a California where people of all ages and abilities can ride a bike safely, comfortably, and joyfully. I invite you to join us as we lean into this vision. Together, our collective power to create a better California is boundless. Without further ado, let's reflect on where we've been with a video celebrating the first 3 decades of CalBike.
This year marks the 30th anniversary of the California Bicycle Coalition. In 3 decades of lifting up the voices of local bicycle advocates and everyday riders, we haven't just imagined a better future, we've helped build it, with you, our coalition, at our side every step of the way. CalBike's first accomplishments remains a core part of our mission today: to gain more funding for active transportation infrastructure in the state budget, starting with the bicycle lane account in 1997. In 2013, CalBike's advocacy helped create a dedicated funding source for biking and walking projects throughout California, the Active Transportation Program. We continue to work to increase the amount of funding for the ATP, and in 2022 won a historic $1 billion for bikes. Building connected, protected infrastructure isn't a luxury, it's the foundation of a healthier, more sustainable future. For young people, a bike isn't just a mode of transportation, it's a ticket to freedom. Giving youth the freedom and safety to get around by bicycle gives them autonomy and can start a lifelong love affair with bicycling. CalBike was instrumental in California's adoption of the first statewide Safe Routes to Schools program in 1999. In 2013, CalBike helped make 3 feet to pass the law in California. It addressed the near misses that can make bike riders feel unsafe on the road, requiring car drivers to pass bike riders with at least 3 feet of space between them. In 2022, we sponsored an Omnibike bill, which expanded street safety for people on bikes. Now, drivers must change lanes when passing people riding bikes wherever possible. Protected bikeways are a proven safety feature, reducing fatalities for road users in all modes. But cities were reluctant to install bollards, planter boxes, curbs, or parked cars to separate bike traffic from people driving cars until 2014, when CalBike helped pass the Protected Bikeways Act. Now, 10 years later, separated bikeways are common and growing in California. Removing outdated laws against common sense biking and walking behaviors is essential to make our streets safe for Black and Latina Californians. Selective enforcement of these laws against BIPOC bike riders can lead to lethal police encounters and does nothing to increase safety. In 2022, CalBike helped pass the Freedom to Walk Act, decriminalizing safe mid-block pedestrian crossings, and we continue to campaign for the bicycle safety stop, which would allow people on bikes to treat stop signs as yields, because safety and equity go hand in hand. Progress takes perseverance. We don't win every campaign in its first year, but CalBike knows that a loss is just a milestone on the road to victory. For example, in 2024, we helped pass the Complete Streets Bill, which compels Caltrans to make state routes that serve as local streets safer for people who get around by biking or walking. That campaign took 3 bills over 7 years. We're still working to legalize safe biking, to prevent the criminalization of e-bikes and youth on bikes, to expand how our state thinks about building infrastructure and where our transportation dollars go. We're in it for the next 30 years. Are you with us?
Great. I'm up. Hello, all. I'm Jared Sanchez, Policy Director at CalBike. I want to touch a little bit on our biggest win that was just mentioned in the video, SB 960. We capped it off with a major success in signing this into law. Senator Scott Wiener's tireless leadership the past 7 years finally paid off, and we thank him deeply for making this a priority for the movement of safer streets for all. We thank all of you for staying engaged, filling out surveys, submitting letters, making calls, and even getting involved in the fine details about state highways that run through your communities. Thank you for your support over these years. Your contributions have made this a monumental win possible. In short, and you've already might have been inundated by the details already, this new Safer Streets law will strengthen the requirements for complete streets. That is, streets that also prioritize biking and walking and not just car travel. When Caltrans repaves our state highways, these state highways often act as main streets across California that allow all types of users, but remain the most dangerous for those outside of cars. Caltrans will need to develop hundreds to thousands of miles of new protected bike lanes, sidewalks, crosswalks, and various other traffic calming design improvements to ensure our main streets are safer and more accessible for people walking, biking, and taking transit. Caltrans has made progress in recent years responding to our advocacy, but it continued without urgency while traffic violence and our climate crisis worsens. This year, we published our report, Incomplete Streets, Aligning Practice with Promise in Caltrans projects, which documented the lack of comprehensive implementation of the agency's own Complete Streets policies. This new law, SB 960, for safer streets is a major win, but full success will lie in holding the agency accountable on implementation and will require further involvement from us and all of you. In our report, we laid out 7 clear steps in implementing key aspects of the new law. A critical piece is local stakeholder engagement. The agency will now be required to better meet with the community when it's repaving roads and ensure that safer infrastructure is built for all users, not just car travel. There are hundreds of state highway projects in the pipeline that have documented needs for safer streets that will require your voice to be heard in order for Caltrans and all of its various local districts to prioritize and fund these road safety improvements. We hope to keep you up to date on these projects, and we'll continue to pressure Caltrans to be more transparent in our transportation funding and engineering decisions. So, in other words, we need your help more than ever in 2025 on complete streets on our state highways. Thank you for being in this movement, and we hope our shared advocacy for safer and more sustainable and more bike-friendly streets will enable all Californians to lead healthy and joyful lives. Now I'm going to turn to a short video message from Senator Scott Wiener, again, the author of SB 960, and one of our biggest bike champions in the state legislature, to discuss his leadership on complete streets and beyond.
Hi, I'm Senator Scott Wiener, and I want to wish CalBike a very happy 30th birthday. Thank you for your 30 years of amazing service to make California's transportation system safer and more sustainable. During my 8 years in the Senate, it's been such an honor to work with CalBike on a number of different issues. Most significantly, our effort to get the state and to get Caltrans to do more to improve safety for cyclists, pedestrians, transit riders on our state-owned roads. We worked for 8 years on this effort, including a gubernatorial veto 5 years back. And finally this year, we were able, working together, to pass Senate Bill 960. And it's a huge step forward for transportation safety and sustainability in California. So many people over time are going to benefit from this work in terms of being able to get around their community or to cross the street with much higher safety than we currently have. So many people are dying, getting injured on our roads, and we need to make them safer. So thank you for what you do. I am just deeply, deeply grateful, and have a wonderful day.
We, of course, thank the senator for his leadership and look forward to working with him more this year and the few years left in his Senate position. Moving beyond complete streets, we had other significant bike-friendly legislative wins this year. Thank you to all our champions in the state legislature, particularly longstanding supporters, Assembly Person and now Congressperson-elect Laura Friedman, and Assembly Member Phil Ting. In addition to new champions like Senator Catherine Blakespear and Assembly Member Christopher Ward, and others to come. Let's turn to a short video that will discuss some of these wins in more detail.
In 2024, CalBike helped pass several measures that move California closer to a future where transportation is both safe and accessible for everyone. Several new laws, backed by CalBike's advocacy, build on the vision of streets that prioritize people over cars. With these legislative wins, we're not only making our streets safer for people biking and walking, but rethinking what our roads can be. The Bike Lanes in Coastal Areas Act, SB 689, marks a major victory for accessibility along California's coast. It restricts the Coastal Commission's ability to block bike lanes on existing roads, allowing for safer, more inclusive access to some of California's most cherished landscapes. This isn't just about transportation. It's about making our iconic coastlines available to everyone. Crossing a bridge shouldn't cost you if you're on foot or bike. To make this true, we supported AB 2669, which permanently removes tolls for people walking and biking on California's toll bridges. This law makes a bold statement that people using active transportation should be able to cross these vital connections freely. It's a practical change, especially in places like the Bay Area, where bridges are essential links for travelers.
Another crucial law passed in 2024 is SB 1216, which limits the use of Class 3 shared bikeways on high-speed routes. Too often, these shared lanes have been used where dedicated protective infrastructure is needed. This law refines our approach, pushing for safer solutions on roads where cars and bikes simply cannot safely coexist. While it ultimately fell short of passage, we believe we will look back on SB 961 as a watershed moment in the conversation on speed assist in cars. As originally drafted, the bill would have placed novel intelligent speed assists in all vehicles sold in California. This simple tool has proven effective in reducing traffic violence and builds upon logical safety measures already in place in cars, like seatbelt alarms and airbags, both of which also received pushback from auto manufacturers when first introduced as required features. E-bikes have been a hot topic this year, and California has taken significant steps to ensure their safety. AB 1774, the e-bike modification bill, curbs the sale of devices that boost e-bikes beyond regulated speeds, addressing safety concerns about out-of-class e-devices. And SB 1271 now mandates certified batteries for e-bikes, setting standards that will help prevent battery fires, making this vital transportation option safer. The bill also clarifies in state law what is an e-bike as opposed to an out-of-class device which is not proven on streets, bikeways, or trails, and prevents retailers from selling them as, quote-unquote, e-bikes. Together, These legislative wins bring us closer to a future where our streets reflect the values of safety, access, and equity. Every law is a step towards roads that serve all Californians, and it's the support of advocates and allies like you that keep this vision alive.
So the past 30 years and this year's wins certainly wouldn't have been possible without key champions and partners alongside us, many of you here. We thank you all for your collaboration and contributions in making our streets safer and more sustainable across California. I'd like to turn now to a few special messages from them that we would like to share.
Hello, CalBike family and friends. Happy 30th birthday, CalBike. I'm so proud and honored to be part of this family and have been for the last 10 plus years. I'm also incredibly proud of the work that we've been able to accomplish together and the ways that we've made it safer to bike for everyone in our state. This year, we notched some really big wins. So I just want to highlight protecting $200 million in funds for active transportation, for the active transportation program, without which the CTC would have no funding to award this cycle. And they received over $2.5 billion in requests from cities and counties across our state. We also were successful in finally passing Senator Wiener's SB 960, which will require Caltrans to take seriously building complete streets on our state highways. So huge progress. The work doesn't stop. This next year is going to be interesting and probably uniquely challenging. More to come for sure in terms of, what we expect to see at the federal level, but certainly, the rollbacks to California's electric vehicle standards will mean that, there's even more pressure, even more need to increase walking, biking, and transit in our state to be able to reach our climate goals. So I'm here for it. I will be in the work and look forward to working together with you for the next 30 years of CalBike.
Hi, everyone. I am Congressmember-elect Laura Friedman. Now, California's roads are a sprawling network that move millions of people every day. But the roads were designed for cars, which means that our transportation network all across California, it doesn't keep pedestrians and cyclists safe. Now, CalBike has long been a leader in the fight to make our roads truly multimodal, to make them safe for everybody. Due in no small part to CalBike's advocacy, the Bicycle and Pedestrian Infrastructure Spending Plan is part of the 2024 State Highway Operation and Protection Program. Under this, Caltrans will spend approximately $930 million over the next 4 years to improve bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure throughout the state. This includes 285 miles of new and improved bike lanes on state highways and the addition of more than 1,300 safety elements by mid-2028. Thank you, CalBike, for your tireless advocacy and in the partnership that we have had over the last several years that I've been in the legislature. You are one of the reasons that one day, hopefully, California's roads will be some of the safest in the nation.
Congratulations to CalBike on 30 years of advocacy and leadership throughout the state of California. I'm Chloe Lauer, the Executive Director of the San Diego County Bicycle Coalition, wanting to wish CalBike the best for the next 30 years, and thank you again for your partnership. We couldn't be where we are today without you. Have a great 2025.
Hi, I'm Justin Huynh, Co-Executive Director of Mobility Justice at Bike East Bay. CalBike is a tremendous partner in advancing the work of mobility justice and for a while an office mate, actually here in this office. One of the collaborations we're most proud of was the passage of the 3-foot passing rule, ensuring a safe space for all those riding our street. After several failed legislative attempts, we partnered directly with CalBike to make this happen, showing the power of partnership. This was further strengthened by the recent passage of the omnibus bill that CalBike championed, requiring full lane change when feasible if passing. This long-term commitment to accountability and collaboration will make CalBike a strong champion in making biking better for all.
All right. I think that is my cue. Again, Kendra from CalBike here. As you just heard, there's a lot to celebrate from 2024. We have an incredible coalition, and we have already begun working on our slate of bills for 2025, meeting with legislative staff and our partner organizations throughout the state. With new legislators taking office this week, actually yesterday, we'll be continuing getting into their offices and meeting with them, securing sponsors for the bills, and working with many of you to create coalition around getting these bills passed. For 2025, we will build on the successes and the momentum created with the passage of the Complete Streets Bill and the groundswell of support for safer streets. We have a robust legislative agenda in development, and some of the bills that we are working on I'll talk about now. So first off, we have a bike highways pilot. This is a pilot program establishing a branded network of bicycle highways that are numbered and signed within 2 of California's major metropolitan areas. The bike highways would serve trips of 5 miles or more and support higher speed travel, for example, up to about 25 miles an hour. The highways would connect to other regional routes, creating connections between communities for people on bikes. Next, a quick build pilot program. This bill would establish a bikeway quick build pilot project to expedite development and implementation of bikeways on the state highway system. The bill would require development of guidelines for implementing bikeway quick build projects, which are an interim capital infrastructure project that requires minor construction activities, but is built with durable, low to moderate cost materials. So basically, it can be put in more quickly, lower cost materials, but will still last for 1 to 5 years. So not a demonstration, but not quite a totally 20-year permanent project. These types of projects can be a catalyst for development of facilities to improve safety for people biking and walking who continue to be injured and killed on unsafe roadways while long-term planning is done. Similar to what was mentioned a few moments ago, we are talking about another bike omnibus bill, which would make several additional changes to the California Vehicle Code to help bicyclists. Some of these changes include clarifying hand signaling. Bicyclists would not be required to provide a hand signal if circumstances required that both hands be used to safely control or operate the bicycle. I know sometimes for myself, if I'm on an e-bike with cargo in the back, it can be challenging to keep your arm up as long as you'd normally do so when changing lanes. Next, pedestrian hybrid beacons. This clarification would clarify that a person riding a bicycle would have the rights and responsibilities of a pedestrian at a pedestrian hybrid beacon, also known as hawk beacons, but would yield to pedestrians upon and along a crosswalk. This is a similar clarification as to a few years ago when bicyclists were allowed to proceed through a red signal when the pedestrian walk signal was, the leading pedestrian walk signal was eliminated. Another provision would be a follow-up on last year's AB 413, the daylighting law, which would prohibit extra tall vehicles from parking for an additional specified distance from a marked or unmarked crosswalk to improve visibility for vulnerable road users. The daylighting law, which takes effect on January 1st of 2025, currently prohibits parking within 20 feet of a marked or unmarked crosswalk, or 15 feet if that crosswalk has a bulb out. Next on the list of legislative ideas are shared streets. Building on the open streets and slow streets momentum of the pandemic, this would create a new roadway classification where vulnerable road users would have right-of-way at all locations, not just intersections or crosswalks. Popular in Europe, shared streets are slow-speed facilities that truly prioritize travel by bike or foot. And while these may have limited applicability in California, the opportunity to truly have road priority for people walking and biking, scooting, all these types of things, really creates an opportunity for safe and vibrant spaces built around people-powered movement. Next up is a new classification of bike facility for bike boulevards. As our roadways evolve over time, new facility classifications can be established One such facility that we're thinking about is the Bicycle Boulevard, which currently exists as a subset of the Class 3 bike route. The Bike Boulevard incorporates significant traffic calming above just the designation of bike route, and creates a low stress environment for people on bike. Creating this as a new class of bicycle facility would allow generation of specific design documentation similar to what was produced when the Class 4 separated bikeways were established several years ago, which would help create more predictable implementation throughout the state. Backed by popular demand, we have the Safety Stop, also known as the Idaho Stop. The Safety Stop is a common sense practice where bicyclists would treat stop signs as yield, where it is safe to do so. We continue to seek introduction and passage of this regulation, which has existed successfully for more than 40 years in other states, including, of course, Idaho. Bit of history, there was a safety stop bill in the last 2-year legislative session, but it did not make it out of committee to be voted on. One prior version made it to the governor's desk and was vetoed, and another version did not make it to the governor's desk. So you're hearing a little bit of a pattern here. We are definitely committed to continuing with this common sense measure, but we will see what interest there is in the legislature for this bill this year. And another area which was just mentioned in our recap from last year is e-bike policy. We continue to have ongoing conversations with our local partners around what they're seeing locally, as well as legislators on issues surrounding e-bikes. We have seen several pilot bills in different parts of the state pass in 2024, creating some pilots that look at new regulations around age of riders. And we've also seen local ordinances that really crack down on riding e-bikes, in many cases seeking to address issues with devices that are not actually bicycles, which are operating at much higher speeds, often don't have operable pedals, and or can be switched between being an e-bike that fit into the 3-class system and being something that's faster. We'll continue to work in this area to make sure that e-bikes can continue to be a safe and viable form of transportation in California. We'd like to help clarify what is and is not an e-bike. So we're currently speaking with many partners and folks in the legislature as well to understand what additional regulation may be warranted here. Outside of the legislative arena, CalBike continues to work on the administrative side, working with Caltrans to influence implementation of the Complete Streets Law. That is a big piece of our agenda this year. We're already started working on helping secure the highest possible amount for the Active Transportation Program in 2025. In order to do these things, we are active on several advisory bodies to Caltrans. We engage during California Transportation Commission meetings, and we work with our coalition partners throughout the state to influence regulation and policy relevant to bicycling throughout California. There are a lot of ideas on the table. We're excited to discuss what your top priorities are and hear your thoughts in a few moments when we will split up into breakout rooms. Before we head into those discussions, I'm going to hand it over to Kevin to share a few words. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Kendra. Obviously, folks, you have heard how much we aim to accomplish in the next year and over the next 30 years. As we reach the end of our program, I'm going to leave you with a brief parting message. The name of the organization is the California Bicycle Coalition, and we are truly powered by our coalition members, supporters like you. When you sign our petitions, send an email or make a call to your legislator or make a gift, truly power CalBike's work and help us advance our mission. For those of you who have made a gift this year, thank you so much. For those of you who are yet to make a gift or need to renew, now is a great time to do so. We are offering a $20,000 gift match right now through the end of the week. So 100% of donations up to $20,000 will be matched by a group of generous CalBike supporters through the end of the week. Great opportunity to double the impact of your support. We've recently launched new membership benefits and perks. If you want to get the most out of your gift, the most powerful thing you can do is give monthly. Make sure we have the resources to do this work week in and week out. If you make a monthly gift right now, we'll count the full annual total towards this week's match. So give $5 a month, we'll count 60 towards the match. You can do all of this on our website, calbike.org/join. We've also got other ways to give: donate an old car, give to our tax-deductible sister organization, the California Mobility Fund, give via Donor Advised Fund. You can take care of all of that, calbike.org/join, and we'd be thrilled to have you on board to carry our momentum forward into 2025. So that concludes the official program for this afternoon. If you need to depart, thank you so much for joining us on behalf of the board and staff of CalBike. We will be opening a set of breakout rooms now. The staff will be hanging out in there. If you'd like to share your perspective or chat a little bit about the challenges facing bicyclists in your area, we'd love to hear from you, take some notes, and hear what you have going on. So Andrew will be setting those up in a quick moment. Our core staff members will be hanging out in those rooms, and we encourage you to join us. Thank you again.